Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Bat Community Call this week for the week of September 10th, 2024, 2 o'clock Pacific. Hope you all are doing well. Just really quick before we jump into the deck that Jenny's got going. Brendan did release the growth numbers for August, which were actually really good. We broke 80 million monthly active users using a historical method and 30 million daily active users, which is like pretty excellent to see. I think a 3 and 4% increase on both of those coming out of the summer. And we saw some good, healthy search growth as well. I think we're tracking towards 11 billion annuals on that queries, which is fantastic. So, awesome to see. No doubt, seeing a lot more people discovering Brave, and a lot of that's because of the work that you all are doing out there, like on the front lines and in the trenches, and we super appreciate that. So, I'll hand it off to Jenny and the team to give the updates, but just wanted to give a shout and say many thanks to all of you for hitting the drumbeat every day. Much appreciated. Hey, Jenny.
Hi, and yes, echoing everything that Luke just said. Thank you all for being here and for being our champions. Okay, so let's just dive right into the deck, shall we? Okay, so the Back Community team is continuing its work with Unfungible on X Spaces. So there are a couple recent spaces and upcoming spaces that I want to cover with you all real quick. So last week we did the topic, "Are NFTs still back?" And that was with the community team, and Luke was there for that one. And we had a couple guest projects as well. You can go find the recording on the Attention Token Twitter if you're interested. Upcoming, we have this Friday a space titled "Empowering Digital Creators in Web3." So, it's a perfect topic for us. That's going to be with the community team, probably again with Luke, Forbes Web3, Shotgun, and Step N. And I also have mentioned in past weeks, but wanted to just remind everyone, we're going to be adding a second weekly slot for X Spaces on Attention Token. So we're going to have the Friday 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern slot, and then we will also have Wednesdays 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and Luke will be featuring in the Friends Center on those panels on Wednesdays. So our first one is going to be taking place the week after Token 2049. So that's Wednesday, September 25th. And we don't have our topic yet, but we will announce it as soon as we do. And then also we have some team members who've done some guest appearances on panels on behalf of, representing Bat and Brave that I wanted to highlight. So yesterday, Bat Earn featured on a panel called "The Power of User-Generated Content" with Bricktopians. And then today he did another one with Super Champs called "How to Build Skills That Matter in Web3." So just want to shout that out. You can find the recordings for those. We actually probably should be retweeting them from that account. I don't think we've got all of them retweeted there so far, but yeah, we will make sure that they're all accessible for anyone who wants to go back and listen to those recordings. And then while we're still talking about Unfungible, I just wanted to highlight some of the recent promo posters that they've put together for panels that we've appeared on as a guest. So I just wanted to show you, give you like a visual sense of how we're really trying to, put Bat out there more this year. Not only are we doing the weekly spaces with Unfungible, well, now we're going to be doing 2 a week, but we also, like I said, participate in panels belonging to their clients. So yeah, we've been doing these pretty much weekly. These are just some of the posters, and these are some of the other projects that we show up with. So these 2 posters here are panels that were joined by Bat Earn, representing Bat, which is awesome. And then here are a few more. Zyro, one with Forbes Web3 here on the right. The one on the left was joined by Bat Earn, and the one on the right was joined by Luke a little while ago. And then here are some more posters. We had Is UGC taking over marketing, joined by Guillermo, and then gaming and memes, the new Web3 culture, joined by Drew. So yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to show you all, have you visualize, the work that we're doing, and just kind of give you a better sense of how we're trying to put BAT on the map, or entrench it even more firmly in the Web3 space with all of these up and coming or very well established Web3 projects. Oh, and here are some more. I didn't realize how many slides I put in. A couple more panels here. There are many more. I didn't feature them all, but I just wanted to show you a few. Okay, next I wanted to just share a little update on the self-custody Brave Rewards on Solana VIP guest list. So I want to let everybody here know that all of the Brave Rewards payment IDs that were submitted via the form up until basically this morning around 10 a.m. have now been whitelisted. So if that was you, or if you're one of those people, keep an eye on your browser. You should be getting an invite soon with an option to connect a Solana address to Brave Rewards. And then this is with the exception of people who did not fill out the form correctly. So the block survey form, we put together that VIP guest list for people who are in our community, very active in our community, and who are amenable to providing feedback. And so we ask that people who fill out the block survey not just provide their payment ID, but also their Discord username, so that we can reach out to them for feedback, or if we need to ping them with updates. So yeah, anybody who didn't provide a Discord username and just filled out the form without that information was skipped over this time. Similarly, if they put down more than 2 rewards payment IDs, we're allowing people to put down a desktop, a mobile right now. But that's all for now for the VIP guest list, that is. But with that being said, that's all okay. Either you can fill out the form again if you think you filled it out wrong, or as you know, Breve, B-R-E-V-E on the second to last bullet point, Breve. No, I just wanted to remind everyone that the Brave team is rolling out the the self-custody Solana linking option for rewards pretty quickly now. They're sending out hundreds of thousands of invitations weekly, so you can always just wait for your invitation to reach you. They're doing a phased rollout now, and I'm also told that there will also be a button in the Brave Rewards UI soon where people can just click the button to join the wait list. And basically that just submits your payment ID to the team. And, if you signal that, or you ask to be put on the wait list, then there's a chance that you'll be whitelisted sooner. So there's that option as well. But yeah, if you think that you should have received an invite through the VIP guest list, but you did not, double check your response, fill out the form again. And if you don't want to do that, you can always just wait for the wave to hit you or the waitlist button. If there are any questions, just put them in the chat for me. I'll get to them in a couple minutes. Okay, and then this is just for fun. I was going through the block survey form. I was sharing the payment IDs with the team and just porting over the data. And so I looked through all of the submissions, and I noticed that there were some names that were sticking out who referred lots of people for early access for self-custody rewards. So I just wanted to shout out C-Ray. I know that you shared the block survey form on community and maybe a couple other places, but you brought in quite a few people. There are a good number of people who said that you referred them. So that's awesome. And then obviously me, Drew, but then also some of our ambassadors, Yavasu, Aranyaka, Stan, and Belladone also referred a good number of people. So I just wanted to shout y'all out because I think that's awesome. Thank you for, getting the word out there. And then lastly for me, as you all know, last week we announced the bat meme contest winners. So they've now been shared on Twitter as well. And it took us a couple of days, but we delivered all of the bat prizes. I think there's one pending, but BatEarn was able to get in touch with everybody and deliver those prizes. And just want to thank everybody for your patience. We needed to request some bat to give out for prizes, so it took a little bit. But everybody should have received their prize by now. All right, and that's it for me. I'm going to pass it off to Godson.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I thought I was going on later. Hello, everybody. My name is Godson, and I have your African Ambassadors update for the week. Not too much from Africa for this week because we have our primary team at East Safari currently. So Stan the Man is currently at East Safari for the week. He'll be there from now till the 15th. I actually thought it would end on the 9th, but it turns out it goes on to the 15th. As you can see in that little calendar down there. We also managed to send out Exodus, who also was able to attend. It was like the budget kind of fell through, but we were able to pay for it eventually in the end. And then finally, everyone was able to go. That's it for me right now. Thank you very much. Back to you, Jen.
All right, thanks, Godson. Sorry, I was muted. Okay, Paula, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I just want to double check because of my mic. Thank you. So first of all, like always, I hope you're having a lovely day. Now for the LATAM Ambassadors update, I wanted to give a little reminder about Eat Mexico, which will be this September 13th and 14th in Mérida, Yucatan, Mexico. And like I said last week, thanks to Donatello, Eric will be representing Brave there. So these days, the three of us have been planning exciting things. And actually, Eric just arrived in Merida, I think like a couple of hours ago, and he's getting ready for the event. So he will be giving away awesome official Brave merch that we send, including some t-shirts, stickers, pens, webcam covers, and also we sent some like premium items for the Bad Mexico team there. And we want to plan like some activities for them to distribute the merch, so they can like interact and engage with the attendees even more. So we're working on that right now. But yeah, we hope to make great content too, to share with you a lot of, photos and videos. And from what I can tell, there are very high expectations, and it looks like it's going to be a massive event. So yeah, I'm very excited, and I'll be sharing more details soon. Thank you. And well, this is just the post we just made for the event to remind everyone, and it basically includes like important details, for example, the date, the things the Bad Mexico team will be doing there, the merch, and also the official website where people can get their tickets. So I just wanted to share that. But yeah, we're very looking forward. And if you happen to be there, feel free to DM the Bad Mexico account or on X, or you can just DM me to connect with the team and get some awesome merch, because there's a lot. Thank you. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. Now, as additional updates in LATAM, we continue our work with the localization of the self-serve ads. So every like 2 weeks or so, we have like new strings or updates in Crowdon, which is the tool that we use. And in there, yeah, we get some updates that we need to do. So at the moment, we're in the like maintenance stage, and well, we are also in discussions for possible collaborations and partnerships in LATAM. but through Brave Ads. So if we do that, I'll be sharing more details about this very soon. And finally, like I mentioned last week and today about Eat Mexico, Eric has been a member of the Bad Mexico team and has helped Donatello at events for, I would say, like a while now. However, he wasn't like officially on the ambassador program, but now we are in the onboarding process with him. So I hope to be able to make it official next week on the Back Community Call. He's been just amazing with Donatello, and we're very happy to have him as a Bad ambassador. And actually, I don't know if you remember the video we shared on the Back Community from the Karate Combat event in Mexico City with the Bad Mexico team and Crypto Grady, which was one of the who was one of the fighters. But if you do remember, Eric, the accent, Eric is the one who sticks the sticker on Crypto Grady. And that video was awesome. And yeah, I just wanted to share that. But yeah, that was Eric. And but yeah, that's all from my side today. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Paola. That was great. Okay, Drew, over to you.
All right. Welcome, Eric, to the ambassadors. Always good to see all the good stuff going on in LATAM. So just kind of echoing what Luke mentioned, that the numbers were out for August and they are up. So that's always a good thing. The monthly active users up over 81 million and the daily active users up over 30 million. So there's some pretty good growth there in August, and hopefully that continues on here in September and beyond. And then one of the other kind of cool things is the search is now up over 11 billion annualized searches, which is also kind of cool to see. And the growth on that's been good, even outside of just the Brave browser. Other people using the search API and things like that. I know C-Ray was talking about the little tweet that Samson did, and I think maybe that's kind of show like what could be done if X wanted to integrate, the Brave search or maybe like the Leo stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Anyways, like Jenny mentioned, filled out and you want to get on, we have the links for that either in the Discord, or we can probably get it for you here, or reach out to us. We'll get you on, and those are being added to weekly or so as we can. And then also it looks like month over month is up about 24 or two. Actually, we're over 2,460 SPL bat holders, up about 200 from the previous month. So it's kind of starting to roll out with the rewards, and more people getting added to that. And I think a lot of people got added in the last week or two, so probably missed this last batch of rewards. But yeah, so it's you dropped the one, Sierra. It happens, and that's fine. We'll continue to grow, and it's just kind of just shows how early we are. If you're in there already, you're super early. Also, like Jenny mentioned, we got more spaces coming, more collabs and things. People that we're talking to in various opportunities for sharing Brave and Bat, and some updates coming to Karate Combat, and some of the ads that they run, and talk about Brave and Bat. For us, we're going to be kind of focusing a little more on the token, things like that. And their next event is next week or so, or actually maybe a couple of weeks, in Singapore is their next big event. So that should be a good one. I think that's all I got. Thanks, Jenny.
All right, thanks, Drew. Okay, Guillermo, you're up.
Hey everyone, sadly I have to start with some sad news. You might have seen Shrapnel is going through a lawsuit, so hold until we have further information. On to happier things, Echo is now on its beta point. We finalized, we're just adjusting the final things, and next week we'll have it entirely finalized on the final version. Next slide, please.
Guillermo, Luke is asking in the chat.
Wait, what was that? I hear a lawsuit? What's going on?
Yeah, they're going through a lawsuit because they have a mother company. Shrapnel is not an independent company, and it seems like they have some issues regarding their authority and who's the CEO and the funds that are being allocated and all that jazz. It's not very transparent yet because I still things. No,
Yeah,
Drip
no,
is
we're
fine.
talking
Drip is
drip though, right? Like, oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I heard that, and by the time it registered, it was on the drip slide, and I just was like,
no
double
worries.
checking. Thanks.
That we have to put on hold for specific projects, so nothing serious from our end.
No sweat, no.
All right, so we're also going to run some house heads close to the launch of Echo, which again will be on the 25th of September. This is just some house ads that I made, and I think they look pretty fantastic. Great shout out to Nikki for helping putting this together, and I think they're gonna run for 3 days plus the push notifications. Thank you. And this is basically the overall of the magazine, and at its current point, the beta point. It has 35 pages, 18 artworks, and 8 projects featured by 14 ambassadors that participated on this issue. And once more, it will launch on the 25th of September. Very excited about this launch. I think it's going to be the very best this far. Like, I'm very excited for this one. I think we're gonna be able to make a lot of noise due to the projects that participated on it. I'm excited about this one. And I think next week I can start talking about Bedtober. All right, that's it for me.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's it for us today, actually, because Batern wasn't feeling well, so he took off a little bit early, but he's been doing a lot of great work with ambassadors, on our Discord. He's been doing a lot of like pruning and just like organizing the server and a bunch of other things. So he's been a busy beaver. But yes, he won't be able to make it today. And yeah, I just want to end by saying that we are all super excited for Echo, and I want to say big thank you to everybody who contributed to this issue. It was a team effort as always. We're super excited to publish it and to launch the NFT for you all. If you haven't subscribed to our Drip House channel to receive the drop, please do. We'll put the link in the chat. And yeah, that's it for us. Thank you, Luke. Back over to you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all. That was a really cool update. Super excited for Echo. I think it looks. I tried to zoom in and squint and look at it very closely. All those preview pics that you had up there for the pages, but I think I'll just wait like everybody else for the issue to drop. So super excited though. I think it looks great, and those sponsored images look super cool. Guillermo.
I just wrote it in chat. If you are a Bat ambassador and you're part of the program, you can just go to Bat Brigade, and on our ambassador list, you can find Echo Magazine, and you can find there the magazine in its beta version. You can fully read it.
Ooh, very nice. Ambassador perks. That's great, man. Great work on that. I think it looks super cool. And yeah, and Godson, it's great to hear too the eSafari teams on the ground, and yeah, awesome work on getting everybody together for that. And it's so cool to see that it was able to work out and that we were able to have people there. Yeah, looking forward to a bunch of things that are coming up. But I think yeah, it was really good set of updates. What was I going to talk about? We are doing a bunch of things. I think growth is looking good. Oh, I also just a FYI too. I sent Batern on Friday. I sent him a bunch of Bat and Adam Ape NFTs and some of the ones from Degen Royale too. I think they're going to start to work out ways that we can hook up ambassadors and do some level ups and things like that. And part of what we're kind of trying to kick off too is to just there's 2,000 of these NFTs out there, and the folks that are here and in the community, we want to see them get more distribution around. From some of us, I think I was picking up a bunch here and there, and when I run out, I'll just if Batern gets on empty, I'll just go sweep the floor and get more or whatever. But we think it's super cool for folks in the ambassadors. crew to to have them and have that part of the project, especially since it was the first NFTs on Solana we minted with BAT, which is pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of other stuff going on. I think right now there's a lot of focus on what's going on with policy and things like that. We're doing some rewards work, working on the on-chain stuff and exploring new ways we can kind of tie up with creators and a bunch of other things that we'll be talking about with the larger team over the next few weeks, which I'm looking forward to. Also have some pretty awesome podcast guests that we're going to be rolling out episodes with. The SEC Commissioner Purses. One of the next ones we'll be rolling out. We just launched an episode 2 with Caitlin Cook, who's been here and worked with us on a couple of those Moonwalk events. I think we're preparing another one with them upcoming, another BAT challenge where people can win BAT on there too, which I think will help with getting additional Solana wallets going for BAT as well. Yeah, I'll open it up for questions. I think interested to hear what folks are saying. I've been joining in the ambassador calls more often too. It's been really cool to see a lot of new faces there, and a lot of people super interested. And yeah, and again, props to Jenny and Drew and Bad Earn for keeping that program, and Bowles and everybody else that's there. Awesome to see. All right. Lead call when? I don't know. What does that mean, Bows? Oh, for the ambassador's leads. Got it. I think that's what you mean. Anyway, let's open it up. I don't know when that's happening. You got to ask Jenny or better. I show up when between.
Yeah, they just haven't invited you.
Cool.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Sorry. Do you have any numbers on BraveTalk or on how many people are using the wallet?
Yeah, I don't think we've released the wallet numbers publicly at this point. I can see when we can go about doing that, but I mean, I know we onboarded over 2 million new wallets over the past 2 years. But as far as average, I can double check what we did in August. I don't think we put those out publicly yet, but let me find out when we can start doing that.
How about BraveTalk?
BraveTalk, same thing. I'm not sure when we're putting what numbers we've put out in the past on that, so I don't want to say anything now, not knowing off the top of my head. But yeah, I think we've been seeing growth on it though, for sure, and on the paid side of it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions from folks, or any stuff you guys want to talk about? We can open the floor up for questions or topics or whatever. People have ideas for things. Love to brainstorm. Anybody? Yeah, Guillermo, how's it going, man? You have a question, Guillermo?
Yeah, I forgot to mute myself. Apologies.
Oh, no worries, my man.
I said that I saw on X this week, Samson posted an integration of Brave Search on X, just so you can natively search on X just by click of a button. I thought that was really, really cool. Is this something that will more seriously develop like a feature, or was it just like a fun thing?
Yeah, it was like a proof of concept. I'm gonna be able to check. I don't think Samson's here now. But yeah, it was like a proof of concept, which Samson's done these in the past on certain things. I think he did it with a browser extension, and it's one of those things where Brendan's super hot on just putting proofs of concept out there for people to try out and see what people's reactions are to them. And I think especially with this case, it's like I've been seeing all these people saying it, or Musk kind of teasing out oh, someone make an alternative, and it's like we already have the alternative, whether they can plug into it through the APIs or work with us on it more directly would be super cool. But it's one of those things that I also speaking of podcast guests, I had a JP Schmetz who's kind of taking the reins on Brave Ads and also like work on search ads for us. But we have an episode with him coming out pretty soon. It's super interesting where he gets into the history of search and how Brave Search kind of became Brave Search and the work that they did previously too. But I think it's not easy to make a search index, especially now, and even with Brave Search, they had to, come up with a pretty novel way of building the index with, from people that are, just browsing and all that. And so, it's one of those things people underestimate how almost, it's not impossible, but very hard to start from zero on an index. And so that's why you also see a lot of like the search engines that are out there are just simply syndicating on top of Bing for the most part, and a couple, or well, at least one of them is syndicating on Google too. But yeah, anyway, Drew.
Yeah, speaking of search and search ads and Leo, those kind of things. I know you probably can't say or have any real answer, but any idea when like that kind of stuff would be integrated into the rewards systems and like, I mean, are we talking like years, months, those kind of things? If anything, you can share on that.
Yeah, I don't think it's years necessarily. I think a lot of it's on, and part of like a group of us are getting together to kind of brainstorm around some ways to approach this too, because I think there's a lot of the search index, building that index is of high value. We build it with users that are taking part in the indexing process, right? That opt into it, and so I think you could see one of the ideas we're kicking around is like looking at what the value is of those search users that are opted into that and seeing if there's a way we can reward there or deeper in the funnel. I think the thing we want to avoid is people just kind of like click farming on search results, right? Like or things like that that are going to drag down quality. And I think search ads are so different from traditional advertising, like a banner display or branded advertising, in that with search ads you're literally putting your intent into the search engine, as opposed to like all the other ads that are out there are either you're in the proximity of a place to see something, or there's a high likelihood of you being interested in something based on some other factor. With search, you're actually like putting in what you want. So serving ads for search queries that are relevant is like, it's a whole different thing. Like, and this is one of those things where JP kind of went into it in our interview, where you there has to be like no quality or even better quality on the search ad result than the top of search organic result, because that's the level of precision you want to have on that. And so I think the challenge there is like looking at this as how we can integrate rewards in a way that's beneficial to the user, also like is beneficial to the user in the quality of what they're getting, and then also like is works with the business model and with the company. So I don't think years, but I think it's going to take a little while just to kind of, make sure we get that part right, because search is also like, it's just a different beast. Yeah, so I hope that helps. But one other thing that JP is also working on is like ways you can tie in intent queries into the local model too, like on the browser on the client for the other ad units that the other ad units use as well. So I think more of this connected tissue is going to be super key. But yeah, hope that helps answer the question.
Yeah, that's cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, I was
Yeah, for sure.
interested in because I think obviously search. I think it's one of those things that people just kind of get. Granted, how that integrates into rewards is maybe a little different, but obviously Google been around and that's our whole bread and butter, and people understand it. So it's kind of interesting to see how Brave will use that. So cool
Well,
to
and
see
it's
it.
also
Yeah, and
like,
also cool to see it grow so much.
well, it's also kind of a stage of play or state of play thing too, where one of the things that really, I mean, we explored this too when we first brought search on, was like looking into, okay, cool, can we make like a Bing ads feed work like to monetize this right away. Because before, folks might remember, before we had Brave Search, we had, you know, DuckDuckGo and other search engines that were integrated in the browser, and we had partnerships with them where we're monetizing those partnerships right off of, like, you know, ad rev shares and things like that, which are pretty standard with this type of thing. But like when we brought Brave Search on, we spent a bunch of time, like a lot of time early on, trying to see, okay, can we make it work with an existing feed? Because obviously, I mean, it's the fastest path, right? You could immediately start monetizing everything. But even then, like our privacy requirements were like, you know, it was either the privacy requirements were too strong with some of the options, or the other ones just didn't want to, like, they were syndicating from another thing, and from another thing it was like a Russian dolls of like, oh, I'm getting it from this network, getting it from that one, and these terms don't let us do this type of, you know, distribution or demand sourcing or whatever. And so like with Brave Search, the challenge, like there's two sides of the coin. Like the benefit, the win is that like we want to keep this as independent as possible, right? So like in order to like we're never going to compromise on, you know, the core privacy promises to our users too. So that immediately kind of threw a bunch of the options away, because even on some that are claiming to be pretty private, like we were like, it wasn't to our team's standards on privacy, and it wasn't what we thought the users would be comfortable with based on what they expect, right? Like we're user first. So that kind of eliminated a bunch of options right away. But the other part of it is that also, like, the more you get locked into those types of deals, the more you're kind of at the mercy of those deals too. And I think, you know, you saw this with organic results, so kind of when, you know, DuckDuckGo got under some heat for downranking, you know, certain types of content when the Russia and Ukraine war started and stuff. There's a whole controversy around that. I mean, I think like one of the things Brave sets us apart, you know, from everybody, is this independence that we have. And I think one of the challenges with that is that since we're not going the route of, like, you know, turning something on to monetize everything, for various reasons, like we have to build up that whole search ads business from scratch. And so what we've seen the past year has been like, one, kind of launching search ads, getting them out there, getting it's a different type of ad customer, right? Like, but also like you're working from something that started later on, right? Like we had been a company for quite a few years before we brought Brave Search into the mix. So it's almost like kind of starting from zero all over again after we've, you know, seen the browser ads like just explode. But the thing with search that's great is that once you have a customer, they're almost there ongoing because they always want to be in the search results, right? Like so anyway, like it's a different kind of a problem, like, which also, I mean, like, let's say we had thrown in rewards like with some like a clumsier model right away, like the advantage of it to the user wouldn't have been that great anyway, just simply because building that business takes a little while. Like when you're building it from scratch, like it's a different set of customers than the ones that are buying the other ad units, because those are like either like more performance oriented or branded customers and clientele. And you know, the verticals on search were just smaller too, because the search wasn't as adopted. Now, if you look at the growth curve, though, like search has exploded, like it's done really well, like over the past 2 years since, especially. And so, you know, the search ads business is building up. It's just taking some time, right? Like, so even if we had turned it on right away, like the benefits probably would not have been that great anyway, just because the volume of the business was so low in these early days. But the benefits of us doing it this way are that, like, not only is the index independent, but so is the monetization too, which brings a whole bunch of other like arrays of things. When you think about, you know, if you go run ads on, you know, Bing, right? Like you could run ads on Google that has an audience extension that runs to Bing, and ends up seeing those ads you booked on Google on other search engines as well. Like it's a very networked type of demand and supply business where, you know, all these ad things go there. If we have our own independent thing similar to the API for search, you know, you could also turn that on for monetization too. So one of the things that's really key about the work that JP Smash and the ads team are doing right now is just like, if we can build this up this business line up to healthy. Like it's one of the most successful business models in the world in the history of the internet. And so having that independence in a way that we can also start to syndicate that out, every privacy search engine becomes, a potential customer. Also standard search engines too. And so it takes a little more time to build up, but once it's there and it's on. So the growth potential from that's just massive too. So anyway, I hope this helps like explain it a little bit, but a lot of this stuff is like, oh great, like Brave's like finally 80 million monthly active users, and the search numbers are good too, but like the search business was like a business within a business too. So it wasn't necessarily like it had the same running start when we first launched ads that the other units had. Google thinks lions are offensive. All right, let's go. Any other questions on it?
Along those lines, like one, I was just kind of curious, like how does Brave's like queries compare to like their competitors? Like obviously Google's gonna have way more, but like compared to like other providers, like maybe DuckDuckGo or something else, like because like I see the numbers and like I think they're cool. Like it's awesome seeing the growth. Like, but I also don't have a ton of reference points, so it'd just be kind of cool to see how they're developing and growing compared to like their competitors.
Yeah, I see. Like we actually had a slide in one of our decks, like one of our corporate decks that showed the growth rate, because DuckDuckGo used to release their numbers publicly every month until I think it was November of 2022-ish. They stopped releasing those publicly. And when we were looking at it, I think it was something like within a year and a half or 2 years, we had grown at a rate that took DuckDuckGo 5 years, I think, to grow. So I think, a lot of that's probably the benefits of one, like having the user base in the browser and having that kind of I mean, these things, it's just like table stakes, right? Like it's funny because looking back on it too, I almost forget about the period of time before we had a search engine, but it was one of those things where you start talking to your neighbors and your friends and you realize how often people like confuse a search engine with the browser, and it's all the time. Like, and it's not even the browser even, because if you talk to people about it like in the context of a mobile device, so many people are used to just searching from the search bar on their phone that it kind of all blends in together. But now that we have both, it's great because you can use Brave Search. And as far as quality goes, I think, it's one of those really cool things to see. And I think Bowser, I even saw you mentioning it too one time, that you noticed, like, or maybe it was C-Ray, that the quality had improved quite a bit since, over the past year or so from when you first started using it. And I think that's one of the cool things about this, is that as our index scales and more people use it, the quality gets better while we're getting more independent too, which is fantastic. But I think you start to notice it too when you compare other syndicated search engines against ours, where the results start looking very much the same from place to place, and then you see something different with us. And I even was listening to like a Danny Jones podcast episode, which was kind of listen to everything, but they had a guest on there that mentioned Brave Search, and he was like, "Yeah, I was looking at this. Google might hide it. I think you might have to look at Brave or something to find it." I was like, "Whoa, okay, cool. This is awesome." We're starting to get just kind of more organic mentions like this. But I think you're going to start seeing that more. And I think I just noticed it myself. I mean, when we first started, it was like, okay, you're getting one SERP page, like search engine result page, and it was like a lot of the more longer tail queries were really hard to get results for. But I feel like I go to Google and Google less and less now. But where it also jumped out huge was when we started adding the AI answers, the latest version of it, where you get kind of more the structured output, was at a similar time when Google started incorporating Gemini into their search results, and you start seeing all these like misfires on Google, where ours was like pretty well put together in comparison, at least when it comes to like pizza toppings and other things like that, where I think Google is saying, you can put screws on top of your pizza and all sorts of other weird outputs that were getting sent there. But I think, the team here is like no joke. I think the search team's been building search for a long time, and a lot of them have worked in like machine learning and AI prior to that, or studied on it. And the level of care, and that was one of the things that was cool about talking to JP, because I mentioned to him during the interview, there's a lot of overlap or similarities in my discussion with him about ads and the other conversation that I had with Josep, who is our lead on search as well, when we were talking about the AI answer engine, and how often you don't show AI answers on every search result, because there's a lot of times when you don't want to show an AI result on the search engine results. There's certain queries that aren't good for AI outputs at this point. And it's similarly with ads. Like I think JP was saying, roughly 20% of the queries are monetized, right? So like, knowing when to show something and when not to show something, even though you could make more money initially by showing more, you don't, because it's going to impact the quality, and people with search quality is everything, right? And so I think that's one thing that really jumps out to me about the quality of the team and the product. They're not shortcutting things where they could as a startup, where you typically would expect people, to take shortcuts in startups. And I think that that's also helping to, as a testament to like people talking about Brave out there, because, the feedback, just especially like anecdotally over the past 2 months, has been insanely good. Like it's been really cool to see people shouting out Brave and talking about using it and all that good stuff. So anyway, hope that helps. Let me check the chat.
Yeah, and I think, to me as well, like I kind of actually prefer the approach of not, trying to just throw it in from the beginning. Cause like, one from like just a business financial revenue perspective, search just definitely causes like occurrence of costs to Brave. And, while you're still getting everything figured out with ads, it's kind of nice to have a little bit more, a better cash flows and having to pay out with that. Especially given that's also a time period where it's nice to get things figured out before adding that extra complicating element that could give extra work items that would distract from, making the base product.
And if there's potential to have a better reward, right? Like on a better action, right? Like I think that's kind of the goal too, and even more in general too. Like we're spending a bunch of time right now kind of looking at, okay, like we've had a really good run on just the approach we went to market with, but also like how can we grow this out into the next phase, like which is, we've got the retention curve on a rewards user like really strong, like and the people that enable rewards stay in the browser for a very long time. And right now I'm looking at this and I'm like, gosh, we have the audience here, like we need to be gamifying this more, we need to be providing more benefits for rewards users than what we have now, whether that's like, and then the follow on to that is like, okay, cool. Like you have like a really motivated crypto audience there, but now you've even got a really motivated audience that's not necessarily crypto native, but like we could be doing something with that in the background, like with that audience and surfacing them up offers or something different there. So we're putting a bunch of effort into this now. Like,
yeah, I mean, I could see it going like various ways, like, potentially, for some people who aren't as into the crypto side of things, maybe if they opt into seeing the search ads, like maybe they get the AI summarizer's advanced mode for free or something. No, I don't know. As long as, they actually are genuinely using Brave Search. Or maybe it's a case of, not based on clicking, but like, hey, if you opt into this, you get to share in a certain percent of like the search revenue, but we may be slightly tiered based on search volume, obviously with some controls, because someone could just make something that searches constantly.
Right. Well, and I think there's this kind of like a authenticity or like a reputation zone of like, okay, like getting to a certain state in the system to where there's a high confidence that what we're seeing is like normal use. But the other part of this too with search that I didn't mention earlier is that we have search as a default in a cohort of countries, but it's certainly not all of them. And I think that's the other part with search that is often not as well known, is that in Western countries, Brave search is the quality's there and it's defaults in the browser, etc. But like there are still parts of the world where index quality and localization you almost have to have like somebody there that's working on it, like that knows the language firsthand, and like think about it in the context of like Japan, right, where it's Japanese is Japanese, right? Like, and indexing for Japan is like a completely different thing from like other languages, right? So, getting that right to the quality just takes some time too. So it's a little bit different from when we launched ads initially, where it was like, okay, cool, the globe's here, we've got, we can cover a good spread. And advertisers are going to send ads in the language they want to send them in. Here, it's like, even just getting search out to defaulted everywhere. I mean, you'll see jumps there as more turn on, but I mean, like, the growth we've had hasn't even been with everybody having it as a default yet, right? Which is pretty interesting too. But yeah, I think looking at all this, it's like, let's level up this thing, like for everybody, for if we have established that these reward users are like really retaining well, they want to be involved in the ecosystem. Let's take it, whether it's quests or other deeper engagements. Now that we're bringing BAT on chain too, it's going to open up a whole bunch of other avenues with dApps and other partners that want to participate. So you can do downstream rewards with partners there, like they could offer BAT holders perks, in their dApp for doing transactions and stuff like that. Because if we're sourcing them, a funnel through the platform, then and users are earning BAT every month. I mean, like there's a two-way street there that is worth going down, and we've established a bunch of great partnerships like on that front, and we're continuing to do it. But also on the creator side, right? Like I think creators doesn't get a ton of airtime here, but I think there's a couple things there that are super interesting right now. Like now creators can assign an on-chain address to their creators account. I think, if you look at what we've got with Playlist, and then also like with the pilots we've been doing in Q2 and Q3, where those pilots are helping us to kind of leverage into some kind of growth deals with some creators that have been seeing the stats we've been putting out and are like, oh gosh, like let's get in here. And so I think, I want us to be making Brave a place for creators to grow too. And doing this stuff on chain is just opening up more opportunities with them. And I think that we're looking at it a little bit different too. And I'm going to get Chris to come on to maybe next week or the week after. But him and I have been working pretty closely together on like, okay, how can we think about this a little bit differently, make it easier for creators to, auth in on wherever they're going. And like, but also like, if you think about it, YouTube's really, it's where the people are, but you see more and more there's just creators are trying to redirect their audience to other places because they can actually make money there. So it would be interesting too to be like, look, like you have a creator, maybe they tell you they're on 6 or 7 channels. I'm on Patreon, Rumble, YouTube, etc. But maybe they put in a goal of like, look, my goal is to get people to my Rumble channel or whatever. And so we could run ads that direct people to the Rumble channel. And as long as Rumble is putting out a video player that works, I mean, viewing of content on Rumble isn't that much different than YouTube, right? You've got a Brave playlist. Like there's ways these things could work together. And so I think we're looking at the creator side right now through a different lens now that we're kind of moving us to this on-chain phase of things, and more to come there. But like I said, a bunch of us are getting together internally over the next couple of weeks to huddle and work on the next level of this stuff. So we'll be sharing takeaways from that with you all here too. But yeah, looking forward to it. All right, let's see here. Questions. Brave doesn't have a way to register in Rumble. Not yet. I think that's one of the things we're talking about is like how we could make this easier. But wow, okay, cool. Brody is adding in 470 listeners on X right now. This is fantastic. I mean, this is one of those things where I think Godson was helping us out with that too initially. But it's great that we can cross stream this there. Cripple Resistance, you got a hand up. What's up, my man?
Yes, um, from I see that Opera has 2.5% of the market. Okay, they do a lot of marketing with creators on YouTube, like ads with creators. I've seen a couple of ads with creators with Opera, and I'm like, would Brave would Brave ever pay creators on YouTube like you were talking about for ads? I know it's kind of counterintuitive, but would that be more cost effective than like with billboards or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where I absolutely think we should be doing more with the creators on this. I think there's real potential for it too. When I was talking with, we ran a pilot with, so the guys at Unfungible that do the spaces with us, they produce the spaces. Andrew Forte is one of the members of the team over there. He actually launched a podcast and been running some pilots with him too. I was even one of the episodes recently, and that was the first thing he told me because it was a new channel. So you're talking super long tail, right? And it was starting from zero, basically. Like, and he's like, dude, the growth here. It's not just like that. The views are going up. It's like the subscribers are sustaining too. They're not. The retention's good on those. Like you guys should definitely do more with creators with around using Brave ads as a way to grow and promote. And I think that it is a really good way to fit. And now that we have self-serve too, like it's easy enough for them to get on and do this. So that's part of why we've been doing the pilots on the media side and why we're doing some of these, reciprocal growth kind of partnerships with some of these creators right now is because if we can tell that story and have creators telling that story, because I think two things. Like one, we could go talk about this ourselves, which is important. But when you have a creator that people are familiar with talking about it and it's authentic, like that carries so much more weight than us selling our own book in a way. And then two, the way that they present it is like really important, and that's one of the reasons why I love working with this new group and with the ambassadors is that when we have new people that we're working with or creators for that example, I can go to like one of these creators. I was like, look, I'm not going to tell you what to message. I'm going to tell you what we have. And I want you to go use what we have. And then I want to see what you say about it because you know your audience better than I ever will. And I'm not going to gatekeep your messaging, but I want to know what you think the win is because, if you had told me when we launched Brave that one of the key growth drivers was simply saying, look, like, you get YouTube with background playback and no ads, and that's a huge growth, for us. Like I would have said, I don't believe you. But the reality is that, you hear people saying this and then, yeah, actually like it works. And that's actually like a byproduct of having better privacy is that, you can build in features and have the wins of like, what we're putting out there. So I think getting those creators to do the talking for us is like it's great because they're putting their perspective on it. And there's things that I hear from folks like I was doing a bunch of visiting some of our ads and partner customers earlier this year, and I kept hearing from everybody. I was like, yeah, I use Brave Wallet, but I use it when I do want to do stuff I don't want other people to know about, like my private wallet. It's like my side wallet. And I kept hearing that in different towns from different people. And I'm like, I've never heard anybody give me that feedback online. But in person, I keep hearing this. And I'm like, you know what? Like, that's actually like kind of interesting. Like, the more you hear people talk about this stuff in their own language, I think it carries a lot of weight. And so much of what we do is just kind of user grown anyway that, we should have. I think this creator area is going to be huge for us. Like, and if we can get a lot of the cobwebs and the junk out and the tech debt out of the way, which we're working on with Chris a lot right now on like ways that we can clean up this process and make it easier. I think that full steam ahead. The sentiment's never been better for us to do something like this, and I don't think anybody can really tackle it in the way that we can. If you think about it, like with playlists and the ability to kind of aggregate different channels, like I don't know, it'd be great to get to a world where you don't have to hear a creator talking about how they're getting demonetized on YouTube because they don't have any other choice but to be on YouTube. And so if we can help direct traffic to where creators are making money and like be a part of that journey for them, it's awesome.
Well, when you see somebody like Tommy G advertising Opera, it's kind of like a kick in the stomach.
Yeah, totally. Like, and I think like that's why I like these deals we're talking about now, because it's them putting Brave out there like to their audience. And so some of these people we're talking about like several million subs, and not only that, it's like they have a big YouTube audience, but or and then they have a lot of other channel presence that we don't necessarily have as active. Like some of them are out there on TikTok or Instagram, et cetera, hitting different audiences with this stuff. And they could take Brave to that audience too in a way that they know how to do it effectively. So I think there's a lot of potential there, and yeah, like we need to get out there more. Like, and if this works, it's like you've got a cohort of people. People are starting to say they see Brave all over the place, which is kind of where we want to be. But
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you too for pushing us on this, because you've been one of those guys that's been talking about this for a long time, like really wanting us to get out there more.
It's about freedom.
Yeah, amen. All right, folks. Yeah, thank you everybody. We're over time, so I'm gonna cut it off there. But thanks everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a great week, and I will see you all online. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
See everyone.
Recording has stopped.
Sorry.
Bye-bye.